Yo, alright, what's up? Today, go over motion tracking, basically tracking text. If you've seen my videos before, you probably know what I'm talking about. Just like where the text kind of like sticks to a character or to a place or something like that. Yeah, I'm going over that. So today we have this GTA clip, and we have Keith running in a circle. Keith is this red dude, and we want to apply a text that follows him around. So first thing I'm going to do is just grab some text. If you don't know how I have this over here, or you want to make your own text, I'll leave a link to the first video where I showed how you can do that, how you can create your own text. A simple thing that'll save you some time is just center it, just align it and transform it into the center. The reason we're doing that is just so we can have the anchor point into the center. Then once you do that, you're pretty much done in Premiere in terms of what kind of stuff. Edit the text now. I would recommend doing that. So if you wanted to write like, sometimes I'll put those and do like that, or if you wanted to just, I don't know, just text, whatever you want to do. I'll just keep it as Keith for now. Just drag and click over both your video layer and your text layer. Then you want to right click, and you're going to go up to the top, and you're going to see it says replace with After Effects composition. If this is grayed out, make sure you have the same version of After Effects installed as Premiere. So this one is 2020, and so I also have After Effects 2020 installed, and so that's why I see it. And then when you click that, it's going to open up After Effects, and then that's where we're going to be doing the majority of the work. So, okay, so when you first come in, the first thing you might notice is that our text, the shadow, is gone, and that's just because of basically the shadow uses a different thing that isn't both in Premiere and After Effects. It's stupid, I don't know. But if you want to get that shadow back, just click on your text layer, go up to layer, layer styles, and then drop shadow, and then you get a bunch of settings down here. I normally do drop shadow and put it to 50, and that looks pretty good. Okay, so in order to do motion tracking, 3 essential things that you need is your clip that you're going to track, the thing that is going to be tracked, and then you need to get one other thing, which is called a null layer. And the way you do that is by going up to the top, layer, new, null object, or just by right clicking down here, new, and then null object. Basically, the null just holds information. It holds data. That's essentially what it's doing. So what we're going to do is we now need to get a tracking point. And so the way we're going to do that, click on our video layer. Make sure it's the video layer, not the text layer. Click on the video layer and go over to the side over here and click tracker. And this is going to open up this box, and we get some different settings. The one we're going to do today is track motion. We're going to go over to edit target, and basically it's going to bring up this window over on the left. We just need to say, okay, once we do track this, where do we want all the information to go? And we want it to go to our null layer. Obviously, you can see we can pick either Keith or null. Just make sure it's on that null. Press OK. We can see, if we zoom in, we can see 2 boxes. We see this box, this other box, and then a little crosshair in the center. We want to position this crosshair where we want our anchor point to be. As you can see, we can drag out the boxes and make them bigger and whatnot. So we're going to put the crosshair pretty much dead center on him. So basically this crosshair is going to try to stick to a certain pixel. So if you have like tracking points, let's say you're working on a green screen or something like that, and you have tape or tracking points, then this might be better. But since we're doing this in here, basically you're going to see this crosshair move because it's trying to stick with a certain pixel, but don't worry about that too much. This inside box is basically saying, okay, everything in this inside of this inner box is stuff we're going to look at. And so we really only want it to look at Keith's head. So we're going to make it about the size of Keith's head. So maybe something like that. This exterior box is saying, okay, well, it's going to search everywhere over here. So if Keith was moving really fast, then yeah, you might want to make this box pretty big, but he's not moving all that fast. In one frame, let's see, in one frame, he only goes slightly over. So having this exterior box be this big is ridiculous. We really don't need it. So we're going to make it maybe like that size. And now it becomes the fun part of tracking all of this. So for this, we're going to analyze forward. Now I'm going to try, I don't know how well this is going to work, but let's see. So I'm going to just try playing it. So basically there's a play backwards and play forward button. So with each frame, it's essentially, if I just play it, the AI is going to try and guess where Keith's head is, and it's going to try and follow it. So let's see what happens. That didn't work very well. So we're going to restart it, and we're going to do this a more manual way. Basically this looks like this, which is going 1 frame at a time. And obviously you can see the AI does a pretty decent job, especially when you give it the time to think. So as you can see, it's not perfect, and it starts to kind of go off in a certain direction. So this is where the manual tracking comes in. If you just go along like this, you can adjust the positioning of each frame. basically where that anchor point's going to be. And this is what manual tracking looks like. It's very tedious and very annoying. Also, you can see that the crosshairs moved off a little bit. Once again, it's just trying to track more specific pixels. However, don't worry too much about the crosshair, because wherever you see this point is where the anchor point is. And that is the center of where whatever we are applying, so in this case the text, wherever we're applying that, this is the point in which it's going to be tracked at. So I'm just going to go through real quick and just motion track this and show you guys the outcome. One little thing I kind of forgot to mention was feel free to move these boxes around. So you may see in the little time lapse that I'm adjusting the sizes and whatnot. And as Keith's character kind of gets closer and then starts to get farther away, he's not moving in as big of iterations. Making this box smaller will make it go by a little faster because it's not looking in as many places. So for example, if I make this really big and then try to go to the next frame, you can see it takes a really long time because it's checking all these different places for where this object might be. However, if I stop this and then make this small, say it like that, boom, we're already on to the next frame. So adjusting these throughout the process of tracking is not gonna hurt at all. It's not gonna change anything. So just thought I should mention that. Okay, so we have finished tracking Keith. That only took me, I don't know, a couple minutes, maybe like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, something like that. We'll say 2 minutes. So now that we have all this tracking information, we need to apply it somewhere. So we've already edited the target, and the target tells us that it's going to apply to null 1. So we're good with that, and we're just going to go ahead and click apply. This other little box is going to pop up here. It says apply dimensions X and Y. If you wanted only the X or only the Y, you can do that. We're going to keep both, and we're going to press OK. So now we will see if we were to have this drop down arrow for our video, we can see now that it added the motion tracker. And so now we can see all our tracking points. So now it becomes the easy, more stylistic part. And that is basically we just need to apply Keith's text to this null. And so there's 2 ways of doing that. Number 1, we click on our text layer. And then right here we see this swirly thing, and it's called the parent pick whip. And so basically you just drag this, and you can see we have this line that's coming out, and we just hover over null 1 and then release, and now it is parented to null 1. So we do it that way, or we can just do it by the way I just did, which is just click right here and then just click null 1. Okay, so now that we have that applied, let's go ahead and click play on our video. And it doesn't look very good because Keith's text is still not at all where it needs to be. So we're going to go over here to transform. And normally I like to just go ahead and click on position and scale because they're likely to change. And so we can see Keith's kind of far away. This text, if we were to drag it over Keith, it looks a little big. Like it doesn't look super proportional, right? So like if we have this, it looks a little too big. So let's go back to our first frame and let's decrease the scale a little bit. And let's kind of make it even smaller. Let's put it like that maybe. So now that looks pretty good. Now, one of the reasons I added some of the keyframes is because if you notice, the text looks good at the beginning, but as it gets closer, it seems a little weird that it's staying the same size. So what we're going to do is we're going to have these keyframes and we're going to adjust the scale. So let's say while he's running up like this, let's say while he's getting to here, the scale is going to go up by like, 3. And then while he gets a little closer, and then maybe like here, it adjusts by 4. Obviously you can see though, as we increase the scale, the size of the text is going to start interfering with him. So we're going to also scoot it up just a little bit, just a tiny bit. So now text gets a little bit bigger. And then as he starts running away, maybe like here, we're going to make it get a little smaller. And then we're once again going to adjust. God damn it. We're going to once again adjust the position, drag it a little bit closer to his head. And then the final result is this. Not bad. So once you're done with this, you can go back into Premiere and you can see, oh, nothing has changed yet. Just give it a second. or if you want to encourage it to scoot along, you can click. You'll see whenever you export a video from Premiere and then create a project in After Effects, you'll see the clip is like pinkish kind of red, and you'll see along the timeline that it is not rendered at all. And so if you want, you can go up to the top left, sequence, and then click render selected once you have that track selected. So if we do that, this render bar will pop up, and now we can see that the video has been rendered. If you didn't want to do that, you can go into After Effects and hover over all of these, click composition, and then add to the render queue, and then export it like that. I don't recommend doing that way, although for certain situations like rotoscoping, I would recommend doing it that way, because sometimes the rotoscope will glitch in between taking that information from After Effects into Premiere. So if you're doing rotoscoping, then yeah, I would just go ahead and export that as its own thing. But the main reason I wouldn't is because AVI files are uncompressed and they're really big. So even something like this could easily be like 2 gigs, you know? So hopefully this was helpful for you. I'm going to keep coming out with these videos and try and do them, you know, pretty short and, you know, pretty quick, pretty terse, stuff like that. So if you have any ideas or any recommendations or anything in particular you'd like to see, be sure to leave a comment. If not, I'm just going to keep making these things as they come up. So yeah, thanks for watching.